Welcome to Love and Lies Audio, where we present to you the untold tales of love, lies, and life after betrayal. Every heartbreak has a voice, and this is theirs. I never thought I'd see the day my own home felt alien, as if someone else had quietly moved in. The walls, once alive with laughter and comfort, now pressed down with a cold weight. I had always believed love was simple. Give it, receive it, and everything else would fall into place. But that belief shattered when Sophie entered my life. She was magnetic, unpredictable, a spark I couldn't resist. I first saw her at a gallery opening, her laughter cutting through the polite hum of conversation like sunlight through fog. There was a vitality about her I hadn't known I craved, a daring boldness that made my pulse quicken. I fell instantly, convinced that love justified haste. Our early days became a rhythm of small rituals and whispered promises. Sunday mornings with fresh coffee and pastries, playlists we shared that reflected the moods of our lives, late-night conversations where dreams felt tangible. I remember one chilly evening walking her home, the city lights reflecting off wet streets, our hands brushing lightly and thinking, this is forever. For a time, I believed it truly was. But the first cracks appeared subtly. A lingering text message she hid too quickly, a phone call she stepped out to take. At first, I ignored them, convincing myself trust was a virtue. Doubt is patient, however, and it burrows quietly, growing roots where you least expect it. One rainy afternoon, the journal appeared. I had never been one to invade privacy, but the air that day felt heavy, oppressive. The notebook lay on the table, leather soft with wear. I hesitated, knowing I shouldn't touch it, but curiosity overpowered caution. Each page tore through me. I can't stop thinking about him, one entry confessed. It's intoxicating. He sees me in ways I've longed for. I feel alive, reckless, and free. How long can I pretend I don't want this? Every word was a knife twisting. She had loved me, yes, but she had also craved someone else's presence, his energy, his thrill. I had been blind, willingly so, clinging to comfort rather than confronting truth. That night, confrontation was inevitable. My hands trembled, not from fear, but from a storm of anger and sorrow I had never known. Sophie tried to explain, to justify herself, but her eyes betrayed every word. Months of hidden betrayal had taken root while I lived in a mirage. My world had fractured. The days that followed blurred into one long gray haze. I moved through life mechanically, work, errands, the mundane motions of existence, but inside I was collapsing. Music became a painful echo. Every couple I passed reminded me of what I had lost. Sleep abandoned me. Appetite deserted me. The apartment, once a sanctuary, now suffocated. I wandered the streets at night, rain pelting my face, as if punishment from the sky could wash away the ache. Neon signs flickered over puddles, mocking me with their reflection of life moving forward without me. Why did I fail to see the signs? Was love ever enough? Doubt consumed me, gnawing at my confidence. Yet amidst the storm, something stubborn sparked, a small ember of resolve. Not revenge, not malice. A stubborn insistence that I would reclaim myself, my identity, my life. I started small. Returned calls I had ignored, reconnected with old friends who had drifted away, forced myself to leave the apartment that had become a mausoleum of memories. I began running early in the morning, letting the cold air slice through every nerve. I poured energy into abandoned projects, writing, photography, sketching, the creative pursuits that had once made me feel alive. Slowly, anger evolved into clarity. Grief turned into focus. I wasn't merely surviving anymore. I was preparing to thrive. Then came the day I saw him, Ethan, the man she had betrayed me with. I didn't approach. I watched from across the street as they laughed, hands brushing, intimacy that had once belonged to me, now a spectacle. But instead of shattering, I felt clarity. He was nothing to me. The power had shifted. She had chosen him, but I had chosen myself. That choice changed everything. Yet even as I rebuilt, doubts lingered. Sometimes I caught myself checking my phone impulsively, imagining messages that weren't there. Sometimes I imagined confronting Sophie in the hallway, demanding answers. Each imagined confrontation ended the same, a hollow emptiness, proving that closure couldn't come from her. It had to come from me. Weeks passed. Life became a careful dance between distraction and growth. I didn't seek Sophie, didn't retaliate. I focused on tangible progress. My career, friendships, self-discovery. I met new people, formed fresh bonds, and explored corners of my soul long dormant under complacency. Every day fortified me, reminding me of my worth and autonomy. One evening, I ventured to a charity event alone. The room buzzed with polite chatter and clinking glasses, but I felt oddly energized. Amid the crowd, I met Clara, a fellow attendee, a photographer with sharp eyes and a soft smile. We spoke for hours about art, life, and ambition. There was no romance yet, only connection, the kind that whispered, "Life continues, beauty persists." It was subtle but significant. A reminder that the world hadn't stopped with betrayal, it was still full of possibility. And then came the message that tested me. "I miss you. Can we talk?" My fingers hovered over the keyboard, heart pounding, yet I resisted the old instinct to respond immediately. I examined my emotions. Anger, sadness, loneliness. Yes, but clarity overpowered them. Closure wasn't in her acknowledgement. It was in my choice. I wrote back the next day, carefully, deliberately. "I've changed. I am no longer who you left behind. I am moving forward, and I hope you can find your own path as well." Calm, final, not cruelty, not revenge, only clarity and closure. Months later, my apartment felt expansive again. Sunlight poured across the floor, casting shadows that danced with freedom. Sophie and Ethan existed only as echoes, reminders of lessons learned. What remained was mine, unbroken, resilient, sovereign. I traveled, explored new cities, met people who inspired me. Each experience reinforced a singular truth. Life continues, and joy is possible after devastation. I wasn't just surviving. I was alive, untainted by past mistakes, untethered from regret. Eventually, I fell again, slowly, cautiously. My heart, once cautious and scarred, now beat freely, open to honesty, trust, and respect. No ghosts of the past interfered. The affair was never the end. It was a crucible, shaping a stronger version of myself. Looking back, betrayal was a harsh teacher, yes, but also a guide. Every sleepless night, every tear, every moment of despair carved out a version of me I could never have known without that crucible. I learned that heartbreak cannot touch the essence of who you are unless you allow it. Now, as sunlight spills across my shoulders, I smile, not for anyone else but for myself. I have reclaimed my story, my heart, my life. I am whole, I am free, and I am alive, more than ever. Thanks for listening. If life has tested your loyalty, betrayal, or strength, tell us your story in the comments. Subscribe to Love and Lies Audio because some victories speak loudest in silence.